Hashtag Michigan misses reality. Hashtag did you know? The giant of Illinois, Robert Pershing Wadlow, was the world's tallest man. Message to Eagle, Amazing People, featured stories. By Ellen Lloyd, message to Eagle.com. Robert Pershing Wadlow, also known as the giant of Illinois, was the tallest man who ever lived. Born on February 22, 1918, in Alton, Illinois, Robert was a normal-sized baby at 8 pounds and 6 ounces, but he quickly began to grow due to an overactive pituitary gland. When he was 6 months, he weighed 30 pounds. A year later, he weighed 62 pounds. At the age of 8, Robert had grown to 6 and weighed 169 pounds. In time, Robert's size began to make life difficult for him. He required leg braces to walk and had little feeling in his legs and feet. However, despite these difficulties, he never used a wheelchair. Life changed when Robert was 9. Due to Robert's rare and unwieldy stature, Robert Wadlow was sensationalized during the 1920s and 1930s. Newsreel photographers and newspaper reporters came and documented him for the masses. Before long, he was known around the world. People flocked to Alton to see the giant boy themselves. Some behaved respectfully, some did not. Circuses still recruited people with deformities to be in freak shows at this time. Offers came in for Robert to go on display because of his remarkable height. His family wanted nothing to do with this. He continued participating in tours and public appearances, though only in his normal street clothes. His shoes were provided to him free of charge by a shoe company for which he did promotional work and appearances. Robert was also a Freemason and was raised to the degree of Master Mason under the jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge of Illinois. AF and AM Wadlow's Freemason ring was the largest ever made. 1 year before his death, Wadlow passed John Rogan as the tallest person ever. A documentary about Robert Wadlow. On June 27, 1940, 18 days before his death, he was measured at 8 feet 11.1 in, 2.72 meters, by Drs. C.M. Charles and Cyril McBride of Washington University in St. Louis. Pictured, giant Robert Wadlow and with his father. On July 4, 1940, 11 days before his death, during a professional appearance at the Manistee National Forest Festival, a faulty brace irritated his ankle, causing a blister and subsequent parasitic infection. Doctors treated him with a blood transfusion and emergency surgery, but his condition worsened due to an autoimmune disorder, and on July 15, 1940, he died in his sleep at the age of 22. Pictured, giant Robert Wadlow and his family. Robert Wadlow died at the age of 22. Robert was entombed in a coffin 10 feet long and weighing 1,000 pounds, requiring a dozen pallbearers and 8 other assistants. Robert's funeral was attended by 27,000 people. Robert's parents buried their son's body under a vault of concrete because of fears for the sanctity of his body. Written by Ellen Lloyd, message to Eagle.com.
On June 27, 1940, Robert kept what proved to be the last of his regularly scheduled visits to Barnes Hospital. At that time, his height was measured at an incredible 8 feet 11.9 inches, while weighing a comparatively light 439 pounds. This measurement gave irrefutable evidence that Robert was the tallest person in the history of man. Even more amazing was the fact that he was still growing.
On June 29, 1940, we started a planned tour of the northern and northeastern part of the United States, and on July 4th, we were up in Manistee, Michigan for the National Forest Festival. For a few days now, Robert had complained he hadn't been feeling so well, but we didn't think too much of it, and we just kept working the normal way. And as we appeared in this parade, Robert's father came to me about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and mentioned that he didn't think Robert should continue any longer, that he just wasn't feeling well. So naturally, there was nothing to do, so we maneuvered our way out of the parade, and we returned to the hotel, and the first thing we did was call a doctor. After the doctor examined Robert, it was explained to us that a brace on his left shoe, which had just been adjusted prior to our trip, had been rubbing against his ankle, causing an infection. 10 days later, after minor surgery and blood transfusions and running temperatures of 106 degrees, Robert passed away. And this was in the early morning hours of July 15, 1940, in Manistee, Michigan, at the Chippewa Hotel.
And so Robert Wadlow was laid to rest. With the passage of time, the memory of Robert has, for the most part, dimmed to the point where he is now placed as a footnote in history, or is included in stories about other persons such as himself. But to the people of Alton and those who knew him, he is still very much with them and is held in a special place in their hearts. They liked him for who he was, not what he was. To outsiders, he was something to be marveled at. To others, he was just Robert Wadlow, a friend who happened to be taller than everyone else. For the most part, he took all the stares, the gawks, and the insensitive questioning in a typically good-natured way. He was the first to accept a good laugh on himself and would joke about his size. But there was a serious side to Robert. The feelings and emotions of a person who, being of above average in intelligence, developed a philosophy and outlook on people and life in general that a person of a more normal size would not be able to conceive or appreciate, but should be made aware of. I've gotten used to being stared at. Some people may say unkind things, of course. I thought it over long ago and decided to ignore them. The worst thing you can say about them is that they are thoughtless. I would like to be like everyone else. No, I don't want my little brother to be as big as I am. He'll have more fun if he isn't.
Very early in life, Robert's parents had to make a real decision as to whether or not they would have an operation performed and possibly lose their boy or let nature take its course. And being religiously inclined, they decided to let nature take its course. The result was Robert.